Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to episode 42. On today's episode, we're going to be reviewing all the leagues as they basically finished up and they played their last game ahead of the World Cup. We're going to be looking at how the teams are doing and we're basically going to be giving our thoughts on how the leagues are shaping up. Let me introduce my co-host for today, Alex and Alvaro.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, guys?
Okay, so some very big and shock results across the league. Let's start in La Liga, uh, which is a very good thing. Barcelona is top of the league. Barcelona are top of the league. They're ahead of Real Madrid by 2 points, and this is how the league is going to be looking. Let me just share my screen real quick. So this is how the La Liga table is looking. You see Barcelona with 37 points, 12 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, and you have Real Madrid in second place. You also see that Atletico Madrid aren't doing that well. You have Sevilla in the relegation zone. They've been absolutely horrendous so far mid-season. But guys, what are your thoughts on on the La Liga table so far?
Well, I think we expected some things to be the way they are, but like I said, there's some crazy surprises here. For what we expected, Barca Madrid competing, and extremely pleased to see that Barca has maintained good form in the league, and they're 2 points ahead. That's how you begin comfortable leads. You start with 1-2 points and we build it up. At the end of the day, it's a game of who makes the most mistakes, right? So there's that. But how you said, it's crazy. We look at Sevilla as a historically very dominant team in the league, right? And we've seen this time and time again. They're usually in the top four, top five teams, and to see them playing this poorly is just surprising to say the least. But I will mention there are some teams that are surprising me, and for the better. Um, I think a team that has surprised us, I think in a way, has been Osasuna. They're having a pretty good season considering they're not a great team on paper. And again, we see teams that I think surprise me a little bit too, like Real Sociedad. They're not usually this competitive in the league. Athletic Club is playing pretty well as well. Atletico Madrid did surprise me a little bit because again, they tend to compete more and actually give us a run for our money. But not a great season for them all around. And yeah, I think it's been a pretty interesting season so far. Very competitive for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start with where Alex left off with Atletico Madrid. It's disappointing, man. I mean, you kind of like overlook other competitions like the Champions League when it comes to La Liga. You think that teams will perform better than they did in other competitions like Barca. They got out in the group stage and now they're leading La Liga. But Atletico Madrid they have carried their struggles from the Champions League into La Liga. I mean, it's early in the season. I mean, it is a halfway point, but it's unacceptable that Athletic Club and La Sociedad are over them this late into the season. Even though it's still early, it is pretty late for Atletico Madrid to be fighting for a top four. Even though they're tied, they should not be struggling this much. Another thing that's surprising me is the Rayo Vallecano. I mean, they beat Madrid. They've tied Barca. I mean, they have balls, dude.
Yeah.
Even if they don't even make a top 10 of the other season, they have balls.
Yeah.
Sevilla, embarrassing. I mean, what can you say? They're always top five at worst, and look at them now. I mean, I don't think that they're gonna be relegated. We all expect them to pick up a little bit at the end of the season. Um, and I mean, this all looks nice and stuff, but I'm gonna keep saying this until after the World Cup. We don't know what teams are gonna look like after the World Cup. We don't know if, knock on wood, Barca has like absolutely injury plagued catastrophe and a team like freaking Villarreal out of nowhere starts winning games because they have everybody healthy compared to the other teams. We don't know what's gonna happen. There's gonna be survival of the fittest, literally. Whoever can stay the healthiest will be able to stay afloat. But yeah.
No, yeah, exactly. I really hope that Barcelona does not have that period of a bad form. But yes, Sevilla they haven't had a good start to La Liga. They've already have gotten 7 losses, and then that's tremendous. And then they're only halfway. Just they've been under turmoil, like behind the scenes and on the pitch. You saw the sacking of Lopetegui, and so Sevilla just trying to bounce back. Good mention, Rayo Vallecano. They've been playing some very good football recently. And you saw that in the game that they played against Real Madrid and the game against Barcelona, and even in the other games, Atletico Madrid, they haven't been at it with the loss in the Europa League. It seems now they have to put their focus even more into the league, and just the La Liga title is shaping up. Question to you guys: do you think that Barcelona is going to win this league? That it's going to stay like this with Barcelona top, winning the league and Real Madrid in second?
I mean, we have never experienced. I mean, at least not in our lifetimes. Now that I can think of, we've never experienced a World Cup like this, smack in the middle of the season. So
Yeah.
I mean, if Barca is playing the way they're playing, they could very well run away with it. But we know that in La Liga, when it's a race of these two teams, the smallest hiccup, a simple draw against one team, and a victory by Madrid, and they're tied.
Yeah.
So, if Barca is playing the way they're playing, I think they run away with La Liga. But again, we don't know if we knew that the same players are going to stay healthy after the transfer window in January and whatever. I can give you a better answer, but it's a coin toss. We don't know who's going to come back healthy, who's going to come back at all. We don't know anything from any team. Maybe we stay healthy at Madrid, and Madrid collapses because of so many injuries, and then they can recover. But I do think that we could be playing with the same style, and we keep our core guys healthy and fit. We could run away with them.
Yeah, I have to agree. You have to bet in favor of yourself. You gotta be bold. I think if Barca, you know what? No ifs. I think Barca will win the league, and I think that they'll keep their good form. Of course, there's always variables, like how Alvaro said. You never know who's gonna get injured. You never know who's gonna be fit. It's all a coin toss at this point, especially considering what a terrible circumstance we're in, where we have the World Cup right in the middle of it, and it's just a matter of time. We'll have to see when the time comes. But I think I'm gonna stay hopeful, and I'm gonna say Barca's gonna win the league.
Okay. Okay. Another question: what Where do you see Atletico Madrid finishing in the league?
Seventh.
Seventh.
Yeah.
Seventh. Wow.
No hate towards Atletico, but they're in fifth right now. Um,
I have
if
a
you look,
feeling that Betis might outperform. The thing is that we gotta think of it this way: what team has the most players going to the World Cup
it's definitely Barcelona and Real Madrid.
aside from them? I can't really think of that many, but I feel like Atletico Madrid has more players
Yeah.
than.
well, yeah, they have players like Yannick Carrasco, Joao Felix,
Rodrigo de Paul.
Rodrigo de
Courtois,
Paul.
Courtois. I mean,
Well,
they have the
Courtois doesn't
most.
play with Atletico though.
Dude,
He was thinking
Oblak.
about
I
But
thought you
yeah,
were
they
Oblak
have
is
saying-
Oblak.
injured.
Oh, Courtois.
Um,
No, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like they have more to lose, and the way they're playing, they can't afford to lose players. So
yeah.
I feel like Betis might swoop in and maybe like steal the top five. I don't know if the Sociedad can keep this up. We'll see. But I
Mhm.
mean,
Well, I still believe it's a little bit too early to count Atletico Madrid out from the top four.
yeah,
I definitely think they're going to get top four. I think it's going to be like it's going to be very tough for them. But I definitely see Sevilla not getting the top four. I think it's highly unlikely that they do. I think it's more likely that they get into the Europa League, because when you think about it, it's not looking good. Halfway into the season, 11 points. They're going to have to win a lot of games if they're going to make Europe. Um, but we were all in agreement. We think that Barcelona is going to win the league. I think it's going to be the league is basically going to be won by like fine details. I think it's going to be a very close. It's going to go until the last day. We're going to see how the teams come back, just like across Europe, just to see how the teams react after the World Cup break. We're going to see teams come into form, teams lose form, but hopefully Barcelona continue their form and are able to keep on going to win the La Liga title. But now moving away from La Liga, we're going to be going to the Seria A. We're going to be looking at the league and how it's shaping up. And looking at this, I think it's like completely different from La Liga, just because you have Napoli. Let me just share my screen. Uh, you have Napoli ahead by by a lot of points, by 8 points. The same matches played. It's going to be very tough for the other teams to basically catch up, just because Napoli have been on fire this season. They've been one of the best teams in Europe, and it's going to be very hard for the teams to catch up.
Yeah, for sure. And we see some teams that I think should be playing to a higher standard. For sure. When I look at teams like Inter, I'm a little, I'm a little skeptical of the work that's being done there, because yes, I know Lazio is a competitive team, and of course Juventus and Milan are, but I think Inter has the level, and as the team that won the league 2 seasons ago, they should be doing better. Um, but of course, Napoli has been one of those teams this season that is unplayable. They've been just phenomenal, and we see this with their form not only in the Champions League but also here in the league. Milan is a good team as well. They have players the likes of Leao, Olivier Giroud, and they're a good side to when they play together. And a very strong team too. Juventus has been has played terribly in Europe, but we see that they've maintained some sort of form in the league.
Yeah,
And
they've been on a winning streak so far
yeah,
in the Serie A. You see that they've conceded the least amount of goals so far in the league with 7. But they still concede way too many chances.
for sure. And we also see here, I see some other teams that surprise me, like Lazio are playing well, but I think for the other teams that there's in the competition, they could be
Mhm,
playing worse.
mhm.
And of course, a team that also surprises me, and I don't like seeing play that badly, is Roma. I mean, it's not terrible. I believe they're in seventh place, but I think they have a good quality coach and a good quality team. So we'll see. Maybe they move up during the season.
Uh,
Hey, I'm gonna be a little booty hurt Barca fan here. It kind of frustrates you that Inter is let's say struggling. I mean, yeah, aside from Napoli, they're in the race from fifth to second. Everybody's pretty even, but they're fighting for a second spot. Because how things stand, if things continue like this after the break, Napoli's probably gonna run away with it.
yeah, but
And
they're already running away with it. So the question is Napoli going to be able to continue this run, or with the additional Champions League games, are they going to uh, basically have a dip in form and allow the other teams to catch up?
this is the year that you don't know anything. You don't know
Hmm.
what's gonna happen after the World Cup.
Yeah.
We, we can predict all we want, but
But I definitely think that Napoli is going to win the league title. I
Oh
yeah,
don't.
yeah,
no, I do think
for
so.
sure. I see Napoli winning it, and I see a close second between Milan and Juventus.
I agree too, and I'm not discounting Roma to get into those European spots. Just because when you look at how the team has been playing under Mourinho, they've been having some very good results. Just they've had some key players injured, such as Dybala, and when you saw basically him coming off the bench, he basically changed the game, and it just makes you wonder how many additional points would they be having if for example Dybala is fit, just because he's had such an impact. But the Liga, the Serie A title is looking very competitive, and I'm going with Napoli winning the league, but it's going to be very exciting until the final day. But now on to the Bundesliga. In the Bundesliga, at the very start of the season, we saw Bayern Munich struggling. They were they were getting way too many draws, and they weren't getting the results that they wanted. But now it seems to be completely different story. You now see them back at the very top. You saw Union Berlin at the top for a couple of games, but I think this is just the same old, same old. Bayern Munich going and winning the league.
Well, I don't think it is though, because when you just look at how terribly Dortmund are playing. Um, they're in sixth place of the league. That's completely uncharacteristic for them, and they're such a good team. They have so many good players. They have players like Julian Brand, Jude Bellingham, And I know he's injured, but Marco Reus, Mats Hummels is such a good squad, and seeing them play like this is very worrying. Um, and it should be a warning to Dortmund fans and the director of the team because
Yeah.
it's always the whole saying of yes, Bundesliga is a farmers league. That varies because we can see that there's competition from teams from then and again. But of course, Bayern are dominating like always, and to see Dortmund not giving them a run for their money or at least being in the top three is very very surprising and not in a good way.
Mm-hmm. And what's it called? You see Freiburg up there. They're having a very good season. And
For
then when you
sure.
look all the way to the bottom, you see Schalke in the relegation zone, and that's a place where we don't usually see them. We usually see them hovering over mid-table or even like trying to fight for the
Yeah, I
European
mean,
spots.
Schalke has had a lot of problems in the past years. They've lost a lot of good players. Well, that's sort of the thing with Bundesliga teams, right? Selling it to each other or to Bayern eventually. But yeah, no, it's a team that has had problems with directory. They've had a lot of players that have been sold, and it just happens. I really hope they don't get relegated because they're one of the legendary German clubs. But from the looks of it, they're gonna have to work very hard to get out of that spot right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. But same old, same old. I don't see Bayern losing this
Yeah,
title.
but Bayern's winning the league again.
But Bayern is winning the league again. With the people who are saying, well, maybe there's going to be a Bundesliga title race earlier in the season. No, it's just that Bayern Munich just they were struggling to get into gear. But I doubt that Bayern Munich is going to lose the league title. But now moving on to the Prem. Now this is a very, I would say, unexpected result.
Mm.
As you can see right now, let me pull it up. You have Arsenal in first, Manchester City in second, Newcastle in third, and then you have Tottenham. So
Damn, Alex, what happened?
No, I mean, listen, as a rival, I have to take my hats off with Arsenal. They've had a great season. I surely didn't expect it, and I knew that the squad that we're going in with. It's just you gotta put credit where credit's due. Arteta has done a great job with the squad, and he's made the right signings he's needed to make, and yeah, they've surprised me greatly. Another team that surprised me, and not necessarily for the better, is City. We usually see them dominating, and of course, they usually tend to pick up after December. That's at that point where if they start a little slower, they pick up and they show their dominance. But um, I don't think they've been playing at their best, even with Haaland, who's been having, of course, as we all know, a phenomenal season. I don't think they've been at their best, and of course, now a team that I want to talk about and that in a way, I'm excited to see play, although they have beat us, is Newcastle.
Newcastle
Um,
are very exciting
what
this
they're
season.
doing is incredible right now. I can't think of in recent time a team that has sort of appeared from mid-table like that and taking the league by surprise. Surely not in the Prem. And we see players the likes of Almiron, Wilson, Burns, um, Joe Ellington. We see so many good players in that squad just playing. Oh, of course, Alice and Maxima, but players like that, especially the one that I want to talk about is Almiron. I'm sure we've all seen the memes about Jack Grealish saying, "Oh, he's playing like Almiron now. Almiron playing much better than Grealish," and it's crazy. But Newcastle have surprised me, and there's other teams too that have surprised me, and not for the better. Like I've said before, Liverpool are playing pretty poorly as of late. Um, Not usually themselves. Same with Chelsea. I think Chelsea are playing terribly. They just matched
Yeah.
three losses in a row.
Yeah, exactly. Their form hasn't been that well so far
Mhm.
under Potter.
For sure. And a team that I also wanted to mention, of course, as a fan, Tottenham, I think they're playing. They're not playing at their best level, but there's still a chance for them to be in that top three, maybe top two. The problem is they've been plagued with a lot of injuries. Like we mentioned, they've had Kulusevski injured, who just recently came back and helped them win their game against Leeds. We've had players also like Romero that haven't played that much. Richarlison has also been injured, and
Okay.
recently Son. So it's a team that's been plagued by injuries, unfortunately. But I see them competing well in the future. But overall, it's been a very surprising season, and
Yeah.
I've liked seeing United start rising back again.
Yeah. Question to the panel: how do you view the title race between Man City and Arsenal? Do you think that we have an actual title race in our hands? Do we see Arsenal challenging for the league title? Well, what were your thoughts on this so far?
Hmm. I mean, I think it's also a matter of if their players stay healthy. I think if Arsenal keeps their players healthy and they don't drop significantly in form, they're winning the league.
They're winning the league. So you're saying if they don't drop in form, they are able
I
to
mean,
beat
and that's kind of a common sense statement. Obviously, if you don't drop form, you stay playing
no.
the way you are. But
Well, yeah, but like, do you see them, for example, beating Manchester City, home and away, for example?
hmm, that's a good question. I see them losing to Spurs at home. For instance, if Spurs have their team all healthy, I see them losing. I think City could beat them both games actually. Just because yes, Arsenal has played well, but people forget the games where Arsenal has won by very little. In recent memory, I believe they beat Leeds 2-1, and that wasn't a great game by any means. And I think Arsenal they're gonna struggle some games, and it's gonna cost them because City is much less forgiving with losing and tying games that are important.
Personally,
I definitely agree, though.
I feel like what who knows. There's always unforeseen outcomes, but I feel like I don't think Arsenal can win both against City. Even if they win away, but they lose at home, I feel like City will adapt at some point. So
But at the same time, Arsenal can win the league, even though they lose both games against Manchester City. If Manchester City drop points in the other games, Arsenal can still win the league if they're consistent. You don't always have to beat Manchester City or like your big rival to basically win the league. Um,
Right, but it definitely helps considering
it,
that
it,
City
it,
are going to do the same thing.
yeah,
Listen, if City get Haaland back to form, which has been something that people haven't talked about, Haaland hasn't been there, and I know that's not a good excuse because they've done it without a
he's
proper
also
striker.
like been injured for a couple of games.
Who?
Haaland.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's been injured for a couple games, and we definitely seen a drop in performance and from the team as a whole because they've sort of adapted to feeding him the ball more and having a nine. But I will say this: if City have Haaland back in firing form, I think it'll be very tough for Arsenal to hold back. And I don't think City are going to be losing a lot of games with him there.
I think it's dependent. I'm going for the same thing with Newcastle. It's depending on making good January transfer.
Hmm.
But basically like bringing in good players and bringing in reinforcements in the January transfer window. Because when you look at Arsenal's depth compared to Manchester City, it's not good.
Oh, for sure.
Arsenal are just a couple injuries away just from basically collapsing. So if I'm Arteta, I'm basically telling the basically public like, hey, we're in the top four race to basically alleviate pressure, but inside to the dressing rooms, I'm telling your players, hey guys, we're gonna make. We're gonna bring in reinforcements and we're gonna go. And this is like a proper title race. We're gonna go at Manchester City because they're in a great place. They're 5 points ahead of the champions last season and Newcastle as well. If they want to get into the Champions League, they're in a very good position, and the way they've been spending, they've been spending very well so far. By making a couple of extra additions, they can really solidify their spot, and it's going to make it very hard for teams like Chelsea, teams like Liverpool to make that Champions League spot.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what I've been saying before. They've got to wake up, especially Chelsea, who are playing terribly. I think I see Liverpool improving their form after Christmas, maybe. Because they do have players like Salah aren't gonna play internationally, and we'll just have to see. But
Well, we'll have to see.
I don't know,
Okay.
man. I think the top four is gonna be defined by who makes the right transfers. It goes for Tottenham, for Newcastle, for City, for Arsenal, for even for United too. So we'll have to see.
We have to think that Chelsea has spent 300 million
Yeah,
in the last
it's
summer.
been terrible coaching and
Yeah, exactly. Terrible recruitment. They spent 300 million and they're in eighth, halfway into the season. They basically bought Tuchel players and they basically sacked Tuchel right after. So what indicates that Chelsea are going to make the right signings to basically get them up in the Champions League spots? Man United, you're basically seeing with this whole Ronaldo saga. He basically released an interview with Piers Morgan, basically attacking the club. He was basically calling to some stuff, criticizing the Glazers, criticizing the club, and I believe that this is just all a PR movement from Ronaldo, and the whole saga surrounding it. It's a negative environment. So I definitely see Manchester United getting rid of CR7. Liverpool, I think they have to reach the Champions League spots. They are improving, but at the same time, the competition is tough.
yeah. I'm talking about the Ronaldo thing. I think it's a bit childish from his perspective. You're one of the greatest players to ever live, and to be behaving like that, I understand you have your problems with the club, and I know there's a lot of corruption, a lot of things behind the scene in United that don't get spoken about because of really bad ownership. But at the same time, you're better than that. You're bigger than that, and I think it looks very bad for you and your entire fan base that you're doing this. You know, so
I definitely agree. Right now, I'm gonna pull up. Um, I'm gonna pull up some quotes from CR7. Ava, I want to get your opinion on this. So these are the quotes from Cristiano Ronaldo to Piers Morgan. Manchester United have betrayed me. I've been made a black sheep. I don't respect Aaron Ten Hag. Now these words are basically damning, just because you basically have come out and basically said that you don't respect the manager. You basically undermine. You're undermining the current coach, and I think this is just basically him trying to basically change his image, because when you look at Ronaldo's performances on the pitch, they haven't been brilliant. He's been absolutely terrible so far this season. 3 goals, and I think in 16 games, let's say he wasn't scoring goals, but he was playing well. He's not doing that, and the team plays better without him. Um, and he's such an egotistical player that he just wants his attention focused on me, 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 me. And I think this is why he made this interview.
It takes balls to publicly talk bad on the new coach that was sent because you wanted a change. So I mean, they try to please Ronaldo with what seems like a top quality coach, and he talks and then he says this about him, and the thing that the club betrayed him. I mean, people like Alex Ferguson are they're probably like, "Whoa, buddy, you're not bigger than the club." So I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen from here. I don't think that Man U just says let's release him, because I feel like they still have too much respect for Ronaldo, and I don't think that they sacked Ter Stegen after after half a season. So I mean, personally, I mean they have to hash it out. And I feel like now with the World Cup break, it will be a good and nice little way for Ronaldo to cool off. But he needs to realize Man
No,
U's in fifth. Man U's in fifth place.
no, yeah, exactly. Well, okay. So when you look at this situation, Ronaldo's basically saying the club betrayed him. Um, we have to look at the full interview because he's going to be releasing more stuff in what is it? On Wednesday and Thursday. He basically just released snippets and quotes. We're going to see the whole story, because we want to say a whole story before we say the full facts. But the key point is at this interview, it came out because Ronaldo, he's on the bench. He has not been playing well. He wants the attention all to be on him. So he's going out. He's criticizing the players, criticizing the management and the coaches, saying, "Hey, they don't respect me. They don't put me on the pitch. They're telling me to warm up and to come in for 2 minutes, and they were just basically disrespecting me. And I'm making this interview just to basically tell you, like, hey guys, like, support me." I think this is all an egotistical move. I think it looks bad on his part, and I think
Yeah,
it
no, I
damages
mean,
his legacy overall.
if he's doing this to get the club's attention, he is really
Yeah, he wants out of the club. He wants out of the club, basically.
he's messing up his legacy.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, not to be biased or anything, but we know that more that Messi will not make it this public. So
No, I thank goodness that Michael
I mean,
doesn't do this.
he has to realize that if he wants to be considered by some to be the best player of all time, he needs to act like it. He needs maturity.
No, but like the people who view Ronaldo as a GOAT, they're always going to view him as a GOAT.
I mean, look, here's the thing. If he said this in Madrid when he was 28.
No. If he says this criticizing Real Madrid, Florentino Perez,
but
grabs his contract, goes on the El Chiringuito, rips it off, throws it into his face, and like.
But that's what I'm saying. If he has this when he was 28, okay, fine. You want to act mature. You are 35.
No, 38.
38.
He's gonna turn 38 right now.
Yeah, I confused Messi on all those ages, bro. Messi's 35. 36.
No, he's 37 right now. He's gonna turn 38.
No, I'm saying Messi.
Oh.
Well, 36.
No, Messi's 35. He's gonna be turning 36 next year.
Ronaldo, he's 38. He's going back to the childhood club. He should not be saying that. If he wants to talk shit about the coach, fine, doesn't look great, but don't talk shit about your club saying that they betrayed you. Like and I'm ready for him to come back from the World Cup to face the press again, because they are expecting. I mean,
no. There's no way that he plays for Manchester United again after this.
No, he's never. And I like we said before, it's very immature of him. And it
but
just
here's the thing.
It damages the view people have on him, his reputation.
Who's gonna take him after?
No one. Number one, in the summer, Manchester United was basically okay. Have a club come in and you're free to go. No club came in. No one wants him. One, he is not the level required. Two, extremely high wages. Three, you have to play your entire team to support him. And no, what top team that plays Champions League football wants to?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No one wants him. They're gonna have to figure out a way to play him. That's what I'm saying.
No. He's not playing again. Hey, he's gonna be dropped. He's gonna be dropped because you can't have this toxicity. You can't just disrespect the coach like that and say I don't respect him. It looks absolutely terrible and it's extremely bad for the dressing room. So he's definitely not gonna touch the pitch again.
Yeah, I think Ronaldo has definitely always been a leader, but this has definitely damaged his image. How can you call yourself a leader and be such a highly respected player and such a legend of the club and behave like this? I understand Ten Hag isn't the best coach, and I understand the situation isn't the best for him, but he can't be acting like this. If you got a problem with the coach, you talk it out with him and you leave the club with as much discretion as possible, even if you don't leave him good terms.
Here's the thing: he's not realizing that they are still very much fighting for a top 4 in the league.
But he doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
And that's the sad part. That he's showing how selfish he's being.
If he cared, he wouldn't say anything.
No, if he's not playing, if he's playing and he's doing well for himself and the team isn't, he's fine. Oh, you know what? I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job. I'm happy.
If Man U was 12th in the league, but he was dropping a goal every other game and being the star of the team, he wouldn't care, and that's very sad. That's showing how selfish he's being. But again, I don't see what team picks him up after in the January transfer window, and I don't see how he just says I'm gonna sit down, or Man U says we're not playing you. He's not gonna tolerate to sit down half a season.
He's not. What I think is Ronaldo's banking on is that he has an amazing World Cup. That he has an amazing World Cup, and he basically goes to the big team saying like, "Hey guys, look, I still can do this. I can still drop in some very good performances." But at the same time, but at the same time, no one is gonna want Ronaldo, even if he drops that, because when you think about it, he's been terrible for these past couple of months. Do you think a couple of games is gonna make up for it? And on top of that, the most important thing, wages and the all the drama that he brings. What happens if he's playing bad and the coach wants to bench him? You're basically gonna have Ronaldo come like to the media and basically say, "Oh, the coach is disrespecting me. He's not helping me." He's just basically gonna cry to the media. So I think no top club, even if he has a great World Cup, is gonna want to sign him.
You're saying it shows that the most likely outcome here is that he shows some sign of life in the World Cup, and Man U says, you know what, let's give him a chance. There's no way a team's gonna pick him up. There's no way that he's gonna tolerate to sit down half the season. So he's gonna use this World Cup as sort of like a showcase to show that he's not.
No, but how
Why?
can you have such a toxic player in your dressing room?
Well, I mean, it is what it is. But they just first, yeah, they can't release him. It doesn't work like that with Ronaldo or Messi or any top player.
No, but they could. It's almost like a scenario where Manchester United just terminate his contract, and he basically goes away for free. But the thing is, that's
I
a lot
don't
of
think
money that's a lot of money that you have to pay Ronaldo, and I don't think the Glazers are going to want to do that.
that's what I'm saying. They might just have to rock it out with him and
Yeah.
see what happens. That's what I
See,
think. Personal opinion, I think that he stays, and even if he's on the bench, he still gets some playtime. I don't see him being terminated by the club, or much less going to another club. That's how I see it.
no. He does give some good points, like criticizing the Glazers, basically saying, "Hey, this club isn't moving forward. They're not investing. They're not where they should be," and that's fantastic. But the way you've been so unprofessional, and the way you've been disrespecting, and the way
Yeah,
you've gone about
he's
things,
not even having the season to talk all this shit about.
exactly.
He has one league goal.
Exactly, one league goal against Everton, and then 2 goals against Sheriff in the Europa League. He's been absolutely atrocious this season, and it's so bad. But going back to our review of the Premier League, guys, what are your top 4 predictions? What do you think the Premier League is going to look like at the end of the season?
City first, Arsenal second, Spurs third, and Newcastle fourth.
Okay.
I must say I'm close. Like I agree with what Alex is saying about City and Arsenal 1-2. Um, I could see the Spurs. I see the Spurs top 4. I don't know if it's a number 4 or number 3, but I do. I have this feeling that it's either gonna be Man U or Liverpool that take number 4. Again, we don't know what's gonna happen. We have no idea.
Oh my god. I bro, we're completely forgetting about Chelsea, guys. We're forgetting about Chelsea and what they could do.
I
Um,
think I think Man U and Liverpool are set up are in a better spot right now to finish top 4 than Chelsea. Again, this is all very hypothetical because we don't know what's gonna happen in the World Cup,
mm-hmm.
but we'll see.
Okay, but who do you have winning the league?
Man
City.
City. I think
Man City.
more
I think
more depth. The deepest team is gonna win any league. The
yeah,
deepest team.
I believe my top 4 is Man City in first, Arsenal in second. Now I don't know if Newcastle are going to make it into the Champions League spots. I'm not having fifth. I'm not having fifth. I'm not having
Yeah.
fifth. I'm not having fifth. I'm actually gonna have Man United in third, Tottenham fourth. Because where do you put Liverpool?
That's what I'm saying. Jota is gonna be back because he's not playing in the World Cup. Salah's not playing in the World Cup. They're gonna have a pretty healthy attack.
Guys, this is tough to tell. Because you have when you think about it, Newcastle has an 11-point lead on Chelsea. No. A 9-point lead on Chelsea. 9-point lead on Chelsea. They have a 8-point lead on Liverpool.
Yo, we surprised the Wolves are playing this bad.
Who?
The Wolves.
Wolves? Wolves. Oh my gosh.
Poor guys, bro.
Poor
Yeah,
guys.
great.
They're down bad at the moment.
But yeah, no, like I don't see Chelsea overcoming.
This is like very hard. But you know what? Let me go for it. Manchester City in first, Arsenal in second, Man United in third, Tottenham in fourth, Newcastle. No, Liverpool fifth, Newcastle sixth, Chelsea seventh. That's my prediction.
Now I'm thinking about this because I know we know that City is the deepest in the Premier League. Between Barca and Madrid, I feel like Barca is deeper.
Barca it has a deeper squad, but at the same time, Real Madrid they have the refs. They have the refs. So
Because I'm thinking. I mean, our
yeah.
entire midfield is Spain's midfield.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, well, we have to see. We have to see how, how the teams come back.
That's actually a big problem because our entire midfield is Spain's midfield. Our
Yeah,
most likely wingers are our wingers, Ferran and Fati. So I mean, I don't know, man. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Like the
yeah,
team that has the most World Cup players might be the most fucked. So we'll see.
yeah. But now moving on to the last league that we're gonna review. I think this is pretty easy.
PSG's winning it.
PSG winning it. They're
Yeah, buddy. I
undefeated.
mean, yo, I feel like if PSG are winning, I mean, Mbappe might have a stroke.
No,
So
no, 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 no. They're gonna win the league by miles. They're already 5 points ahead of Lens. It's gonna be very hard for any team to basically take the title away from PSG. The question, as always, is going to be: can PSG go far in the Champions League?
Our boy on PT's gonna win the league, bro.
Messi's going to win another League One title. You saw at the very start of the season, the title race be a little bit much closer, but PSG just absolutely just like steamrolled
answering your
everyone else.
answering your question about if they can go deep. Well, we already talked about this against Bayern. It's gonna be tough.
It's
I'm waiting for
I say if
PSG.
PSG beats Bayern, they're winning the league. They're winning the Champions League.
I'm waiting for PSG because I mean, fuck Bayern. First of all, fuck Bayern, and second of all, I mean, it's Messi. It's gonna be a good game.
See,
I'm waiting.
but PSG are in for or screening are the Inter defender, and he's very likely to come in the January transfer window. So PSG can like improve their defense, and imagine having a solid defense and a solid attack. It's PG's gonna be very hard to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be
Now,
very tough.
can they play as a team? We'll see.
That's the question. That's the question. Under Galtier, they've have shown some improved performances, but they've been very susceptible in the defense. But we basically have reviewed every single league. Those were our thoughts on the season as it is now. But guys, as always, I post a link on Twitter if any of you guys want to join and basically add to this discussion and basically give your thoughts. You're always welcome to. But as always, like, subscribe, and comment. And we'll see you guys all on the next episode.